Creating a safety plan is a crucial step for those facing potentially dangerous situations. Although we will be discussing safety planning within the context of domestic violence, safety plans can be applicable to most crime types. No safety plan can guarantee safety. However, a plan is an important tool for victim survivors to create strategies that they feel will work in their own best interests. In this video, we will outline key components to include in your safety plan that can be tailored to your specific situation. A safety plan can increase safety and help victim survivors to prepare in advance for the possibility of further violence. Although you may not have control over your partner's violence, you do have a choice about how to respond and how to get yourself, your children, and your pets to safety. Safety planning involves the process of creating a personalized, practical plan to improve your safety and may give you the opportunity to prepare for how you might protect yourself while experiencing abuse, preparing to leave an abusive relationship, or after leaving an abusive relationship. A good safety plan should include information tailored to your unique circumstances, as well as a list of resources available to you should the need arise. Now let's talk about safety planning while still living with an abusive partner. Some of the preparations made while safety planning can seem obvious, but it can be difficult to think clearly or make logical decisions when in moments of crisis. Having a well thought out safety plan created in advance can greatly help you protect yourself and others during a violent incident. First, think about how long the violence has been going on, when it first started, how many times your partner has abused you and other family members, and whether the violence has escalated. This allows you to assess the risks involved in this abusive relationship. Next, identify the safer areas in your residence and determine pathways to exit, away from any potential weapons and hard or sharp surfaces. If your abusive partner begins to become violent, try to move to those areas before your partner has a chance to escalate. If possible, keep weapons like guns and knives stored where they are not easily accessible to be used against you. Stay mindful of how clothing items or jewelry could be used to physically harm you. For example, if your partner has put their hands around your neck before, or threatened to, avoid wearing scarves or necklaces, as those items could be used to strangle you. Finally, if it is safe to do so, discreetly document the abusive behaviors of your partner, even if you are not prepared to call 911 to report the abuse. Important documentation can include dates, times, a brief description of what happened, and photographs if applicable. Be sure to document any injuries and if you received any medical attention. Additionally, list anyone who witnessed your abuse firsthand or anyone who you told about it. Documenting is a vital step, but keep in mind that any documentation should be kept in a safe place that is not easily accessible by your partner. Documentation can also include contacting law enforcement and making a police report if you choose to do so. Next, we will discuss safety planning with children in the home. A home where violent abuse is occurring can be dangerous, if not deadly, for children. Another important component of safety planning is determining what children need to do to be safe and talking with them about the plan. This aspect of safety planning requires extra care and consideration. Some of the most important things you can do are to teach your children how to dial 911, when to contact a third party in an emergency, who to contact, and how they can contact them. Take some time to decide where they can go for safety and prepare to discuss with them what to do in the case of an emergency. Who they can contact might vary, but can include trusted friends, family members, or neighbors. It can also include teachers, clergy members, or emergency service providers. Ensure these trusted people in your circle are aware of your situation and that they are part of your safety planning. Be certain that they are willing and able to help in a crisis. Make sure that your children know how and when to call 911 and teach them that first responders are there to help them. Next, talk with your child to create a code word or phrase that can be used in an emergency as a signal for them to leave the house and get help. It would be beneficial for the word to be something uncommon but easily used in a sentence, such as time to paint or Care Bear. Ensure that they know what the word means and that it is a secret between you and them. Explain to your child that the word or phrase should not be shared with anyone. Finally, you and your child should identify a safe room in the house that they can go to when they are afraid. This room would ideally have some way to get outside should they need to escape in an emergency. It would also help to identify a favorite item within the room itself, such as a plush or a blanket that can be used for self-soothing. Now let's discuss safety planning with pets. Pets are an extension of our families. Unfortunately, abusive partners can also abuse pets. Animal safety within the home requires additional safety planning as well. It should never be assumed that an abusive person would draw the line at hurting an animal. In fact, batterers frequently threaten, injure, or kill family pets in conjunction with domestic violence. For the safety of your pets, take the necessary steps to prove ownership of them. Have them vaccinated and licensed, ensuring all registrations are done in your name, and don't forget to update your contact information with the veterinarian. When at all possible, avoid leaving pets alone with an abusive partner. If you plan on leaving, find temporary care for your pet if necessary. Search for services that assist domestic violence survivors with safekeeping of pets, or if that is not an option, contact your local domestic violence shelter or animal shelter directly. If you're taking them with you, remember to take the necessary essentials for caring for them as well. This could include food, medication, litter, or puppy pads. You might also consider including your animals in your protective order. This can vary by state, but it is permitted in Texas to include provisions for their protection. Finally, avoid leaving pets alone outside as much as possible. Keeping pets outside makes it easier for the abusive partner to access them. We'll pivot now to consider ways to stay safe with technology. Whether you're currently staying with an abusive partner or making plans to leave, there are several steps you can take to maximize your safety with technology. Be very cautious with all forms of technology and know that there are many ways abusers can use technology to control or harm you. First, obtain a new email address, phone number, and social media accounts that only you have access to. Consider using a safe phone or app such as Signal or Telegram to communicate with your trusted support network and ask them to not share your contact information with anyone. Ensure that you use strong passwords for all your accounts and enable two-factor authentication for added security where optional. Do not include any information in your passwords that could be easily guessed by your abusive partner, such as nicknames or birth dates. It is very important to delete any search and use history on shared devices pertaining to your plans to leave and your safety preparations. If you are unsure of how to do this, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at the number provided at the end of this video. Be hesitant when allowing any software to use location services on your phone and never post your location online, especially on social media. It is too easy for someone to determine your whereabouts by doing so. Limit access to any shared files or cloud accounts and encrypt sensitive information. If your partner has access to your cloud account, they may be able to access text messages, photos, or location data. If you can do so safely and affordably, consider setting up cameras for home security. They do not have to be elaborate or expensive. There are multiple products and options available for practically any budget. Doorbell cameras, nanny cameras, and even simple voice recorders can be beneficial for gathering evidence of your abuse. Lastly, confirm that your devices, including your vehicle, do not contain any spyware, monitoring software, or trackers on them that could be aiding and stalking you. When in doubt, have your phone or vehicle inspected by law enforcement or a technology professional. Let's discuss how to prepare for when you might be ready to leave a violent, abusive relationship. If you have been in an abusive relationship with your partner, they have been exerting their power and control over you. Attempting to leave can be the most dangerous point in your relationship because your partner is losing the control that they had. It may seem like there is never a safe time to leave, but you know your personal situation better than anyone else. It is important that you prepare as much as you can until you feel like you are ready. Creating a safety plan, as we have been discussing so far, is the first step towards successfully leaving. Safety planning provides you with an organized procedure to follow, as well as a list of resources and contacts all in one place. We will provide you with resources to assist with your written plan at the end of this video. Keep evidence of the abuse in a secure place where only you can access it later. For your safety, try to make the documentation as discreet as possible. When it is safest, establish where you can go to get help. If you are comfortable doing so, tell a trusted person about what's happening. They may be able to help you with safety planning and finding resources that support survivors. If you feel like you do not have a trusted person to talk to, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or local victim advocate for help locating resources. Remember that law enforcement or victim advocate can also assist you with finding the closest shelter. As mentioned previously, plan and identify with your children a safe place that they can go during moments of crisis, like a room with a lock or a friend's house. Reassure them that it is their job to stay safe, not to protect you. If you are preparing to go to a shelter, call ahead to get information regarding the shelter policies. Their staff can provide you information on how they can help and how to secure a space when it's time to leave your partner. Locating available shelters can be difficult when you are not sure where to look. To help identify available shelters and resources in your area, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or use the Texas Victim Resource Directory, which is linked at the end of this presentation. If possible, start as early as you can to secretly set aside any extra money that you have available to you. If necessary, identify a well-trusted individual who can hold money for you where an abusive partner cannot access it. Financial abuse is common and creates many obstacles for someone preparing to leave. Next, let's discuss steps to take if you decide to leave your abusive relationship. When leaving your abusive partner, ensure that you have all necessary documents gathered. This includes all identifying documents such as driver's license or ID cards, birth certificates for you and your children, social security cards, debit and credit cards in your name, and checkbooks. In addition to identification, you will also need to gather all applicable legal documents like protective orders, copies of lease agreements or home deeds, insurance papers, car registration, account numbers, medical records for you and your children, school records, marriage licenses, work permits, green cards or visas, passports, and divorce or custody papers. In a secure phone or journal, create a list of emergency contacts. This list should include the contact information of local domestic violence programs or shelters, trusted support people, your local doctor's office and hospital, legal resources, and your children's school. Other important items to bring with you can include medications and refills, changes of clothing, an address book, emergency money, extra sets of house and car keys, pictures or sentimental items, valuable items such as jewelry, and a safe cell phone if necessary. Even after you have left your abusive partner, there are many precautions you should take to prevent re-victimization. Change your locks and phone number to minimize possible contact from your abusive partner. Only provide your number to those you feel the safest providing it to. If possible, change your work hours and use an alternative route to get to work. Always be aware of your surroundings, especially noticing if anyone is following you. You may want to give your employer a photo of the abuser, as well as a copy of the protective order if you have one, so that if they're seen on the premises, law enforcement can be contacted. Alert your children's school authorities of the situation and designate who is and is not allowed to pick them up from school. Provide the school with a photo of the abuser and a copy of your protective order if you have one. If possible, change the route taken to drive your children to school and see if a school resource officer can escort your children into the building. If necessary, consider changing your children's schools. Speak to law enforcement, a domestic violence advocate, or legal aid about obtaining a protective order. Once acquired, keep a copy of it with you. You are allowed to make multiple copies for convenience. Provide a copy to your children's schools and inform friends, family, neighbors, and employers that you have the order in effect. Valid protective orders issued in one state are enforceable in all U.S. states, territories, and tribal jurisdictions for your safety if you choose to relocate. Consider renting a P.O. box or using a trusted friend's address for your mail. Remember that physical addresses are used for protective orders and police reports, so be careful who you give your information to. Some states have an address confidentiality program to protect your privacy after you leave. In Texas, this is managed by the Office of the Attorney General. Please reach out to an advocate for more information about this program or scan the QR code shown for the webpage. When possible and necessary, change your routine by going to different stores and social spots. Finally, alert neighbors and colleagues about how and when to seek help if they feel you may be in danger. Be clear about who you do and do not want them to contact. Identifying a code word to use with them if you're in danger can be very beneficial for you and for them. It can be hard to think clearly or make good decisions when you are scared, stressed, or in crisis. Creating a safety plan can feel like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. Remember, creating a plan is a key step in helping to increase your safety during your time of crisis. We hope that this informational video has contributed to your action planning and goal setting. The resources shown here can further assist you. No one deserves to be abused, and these and other resources are there when you need them. If you would like additional help with safety planning or locating resources in your area, please reach out to the TDCJ Victim Services Division hotline at 1-800-848-4284 or by email at victim.svc@tdcj.texas.gov.